Interactive teaching. So let us define what is interactive teaching. Interactive teaching is a means of instructing whereby the teachers actively involve the students in their learning process by way of regular teacher-student interaction, student-student interaction, use of audiovisuals, and hands-on demonstrations. The students are constantly encouraged to be active participants. Interactive teaching can also be called interactive learning, which it can help to create a class structure that's more engaging and fun, so your students show actually wanting to learn. It encompasses all methods of purposeful student engagement, with material aided by the students interacting with others, to the instructors, educators, or their peers and themselves. It is to instruct the teachers actively that involves the students in their teaching process by different way. It can be a regular teacher-student interaction, and it is very essential approaching in teaching and education in general. The students will be engaged with new materials, interactive class structure that we know that is very relevant in their learning phase. The class will embrace the interactive learning that are less about bringing information and focus more about discussions, critical thinking, and open-ended questioning that the student will surely learn effectively. Interactive teaching is not just something that can be taught in just one sitting or in just a short period of time. It requires adoption of both teachers and students. But also, to make learning possible, it should be evolved into a more flexible and open-ended process. The students should be collaborative, quick communication or questions or clarifications before answering a question or use the online tools for class. Also, as what I always say, it emphasizes a hands-on approach that forces teachers to open up their process to their students. For its importance of positive attributes, literature learning possesses its set of inherent challenges as well. Far from a bad thing, these challenges are largely associated with the technological aspect of the approach, both right on the side of the teachers as well as the students. So class, look at the pictures or the graphs that I have posted. So we have the examples of the interactive teaching method. So we have the brainstorming. So brainstorming is very important in a classroom to motivate students to freely express their ideas and thoughts on a subject, lesson, or a topic. It also encourages them to listen and consider others' ideas, thereby showing respect for their fellow classmates. So, brainstorming is a context of teaching or a strategy or tool of teaching used by the teacher in which maximum for all the students to participate by responding, sharing their ideas, their thoughts about the lesson or the certain topic. It can also be an activity or a class discussion. The teacher may begin a brainstorming session by posing a question or a problem or by introducing a topic. Students then express possible answers, words, ideas, or thoughts. Next is Q&A questions. For this exercise, all you need are some index cards or some online tool which allows students to post questions anonymously and then upvote the questions they like. After you've introduced a new concept, have each student come with 3 to 5 questions and write them down to their note card or enter them online. Then, read some of the questions out loud and answer them. The anonymity of this exercise may help quieter students feel more confident and encourage people to ask questions they would be embarrassed to ask otherwise. It also forces students to think critically about the ideas being presented in the class. The next example is concept mapping. It is a wonderful tool because it's endlessly adaptable for different class sizes and age groups, and it's applicable for pretty much any kind of content. You can use this technique when introducing a new concept to get students' wheels turning, or once you've taught it to help them recap and summarize what they have learned. Concept mapping entails drawing a circle on your physical or virtual whiteboard and writing the main concept you're discussing inside it. Then, you can create lines to other bubbles that talk about related ideas or sub-concepts. Eventually, you'll have a branching diagram encompassing a number of interrelated ideas. This encourages students to think more deeply about the topic at hand, deepen their association and synthesization skills, and participate more fully in class. And lastly, for our examples, interactive whiteboard. Whether your school provides you with a smart board or you use a virtual interactive whiteboard, you can use this tool to make your classes more collaborative and fun. Interactive whiteboards have a number of applications, like letting multiple people write on the board and annotate content. They also let you easily download and share what's been written on the board. There are tons of ways to use interactive whiteboards in person and virtually, from games and brainstorming to doodling to group problem solving that allow your students to participate more in the classroom experience. So that's it for our examples. Now let's go on to the benefits of interactive teaching. What's its importance? Interactive activities are fun for kids and also provide numerous benefits for a child's physical well-being, learning, and social and behavioral skills. So it also is important and beneficial to the students and to the kids by making playtime educational. Kids can learn important lessons while having a great time. Teachers work to present new information to students and give those students multiple opportunities to engage with that information, using critical thinking, cooperation, and other skills in the process. So this is very important and very relevant in the process of learning. So everyone should use this method. Now, class, let's go on to the advantages. There is no bringing and sending of facts as well as other variants of learning that is preferable or more beneficial than interactive teaching. Yes, indeed. It involves adaptability, time, feedback, and also fun in the process of learning. We have here the advantages and disadvantages of the interactive teaching method. So first is that it improves classroom collaboration. Interactive learning promotes classroom collaboration because it makes students active players in the class. They learn the skills to take control of their own learning process and work well with others. These skills will serve your students well both in the classroom and beyond. Next is sharper critical thinking skills. Interactive learning, it encourages students to hone their critical thinking skills and information synthesis capabilities because it puts students in the position of developing their own opinions instead of simply receiving and regurgitating their teacher's words. Activities that includes free association, student teaching, and idea generation help students learn to synthesize information and think critically. And also, it develops an understanding of the class material that they can articulate in their own words. And lastly, for our advantages, more immersion. An interactive classroom, your students are constantly doing activities or preparing to do something active with the information you're learning. Because of this, the students in interactive learning environments stay more engaged than their peers in more traditional situations. This keeps them interested and engaged, helps them learn the information better, and also makes class more fun. Now, let's go on to the disadvantages. The number of interactive teaching techniques utilize technologies like interactive whiteboards, social media back channels, and other virtual solutions. While these solutions are vastly helpful in increasing the possibilities for students in the classroom, they may have a steep learning curve if you're new to this hype of technology. However, technical difficulties don't need to be an impediment of the interactive classroom. Okay, the first disadvantage is increased workload. When you first make the situation or switch to an interactive classroom, you may find yourself with an increased workload as you figure out which methods makes most sense and implement in the classroom and how to best use them to the advantage of your students. So, however, you can elevate the stress of transitioning to interactive learning by gradually introducing new learning strategies instead of adapting to overhaul your classroom all in one day. Next is resistance to change. Some students may not want to switch over to an interactive learning model and resist new techniques of technologies rather than embracing them. This can be compounded when they are expected to participate more in interactive learning methods. You can help students to adjust the interactive learning model by giving them agency in choosing activities that they do or the activities that is more fun to them. It's a matter of their choice. Now let us know the ways to apply interactive methods of teaching. So encourage students' participation. So the teacher should encourage all his students to participate in class, to be attentive, use questions that stimulate response, discussion, enhance experience. So a teacher should have a has a lot of ideas in communicating with the students. He or she should have questions to assess the students' learnings about the lesson. Use teaching aids that press for answers and capture the students' attention. So what I've said, a classroom should be a healthy and also fun classroom with all the learning. So use materials that will make the students catch their attention and also catch their taste for them to be interested in class. Set up a work group environment. So this is very relevant in learning, in teaching, because it enables students to cooperate with one another, and also in the process of cooperation they learn how to communicate effectively and learn also about the lessons. Now, we already discussed about the types, the examples, the benefits, and the ways on how about the interactive teaching method. Now, it is a traditional classroom. It's like a role-playing. It is a group project, online modalities that encourage self-direct learning. So, it is important aspect in the learning of a student. It encourages an initial thinking of a spirit and discovery to students. So we should always remember that it is proven to increase student performance and help students to develop more about the lessons. It also improves students' retention of materials and promotes self-direct learning. So thank you everyone for listening about and watching the lecture that I have discussed today. I hope you learned something, and God bless and keep safe everyone.